All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Bungou Stray Dogs, Season 2, Episode 12. Right. Oh, boy.
The finale. We've got a big boss fight on our hands here.
That's right.
Our Akutagawa and Atsushi teaming up.
And they have quite an enemy in front of them because he has put all his wealth into this. Because what is money other than a means to an end?
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So he's spending it all right here, right now. He has a motivation to bring back his daughter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So that's something that's possible in this world. Good to know. And apparently, Atsushi, if you help find a book or whatever, you know, who knows? Maybe that will be helpful for you someday if you defeat this guy. But
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The idea of them building up the world in addition to being a personal kind of desire motivation, regardless of whether or not it's actually possible, this guy believes there's a chance, basically.
Right.
You know, the idea of a 1 in a million to him is like, checks bank account and he's like, I've got plenty of those millions, so
exactly.
I'm willing to take a lot of shots.
Right.
Throws millions at the screen, like, make it happen, you know?
Yep. I legitimately do not see how they'll be able to beat him other than just the fact that his power has a limited supply, so eventually it will run out. But
I think the main way that they're doing this is that it's going to go down. The Moby Dick's going to go down. It's going to go down in the water.
Sure.
But it's the thing of who's down there waiting for this? Dazai?
Yeah, if Dazai gets his hands on him, then
it's over.
Yep.
Yeah, in some ways that's kind of writing-wise probably one of my favorite things about Dazai is that he never really feels overpowered, but he's also the strongest in that
he is the ultimate MacGuffin basically for solving conflict because, you know, that's his power.
Yeah, he's the stopping block in the breaking dam where he can just be cork it up and just be like, nope, it's over, it's done. And there's no question or debate about it because it's absolute.
And now that I think about it, that might really suck for Francis if he did, because I think that would just mean that, sorry, all that money you spent on it, it's gone. So if he just touches
it's gone right now, isn't it?
It's gone now.
He's literally spending it.
Yeah. So theoretically, Dazai just has to touch him once now, and then there you go. But he's not here right now.
Yeah. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Oh, wow. It was a very, very emotional, but sweet episode. And they gave us the hype moment in the beginning, all before the title card.
Yep, and with the OP playing, as it happened. Yeah.
With the countdown and everything, basically giving us the meta reason of why they can't actually lose, because if the countdown is 3 minutes, OPs only last for 90 seconds. So even if you do the full version of it, most likely it's only going to go for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So, haha!
But apparently,
perfectly.
There is a new enemy on the horizon that is,
a demon from Dazai's past.
That's right.
Someone who was in league at the very least, which... with the priest guy from
the
Reverend. Yeah. But okay.
All right.
So someone that was probably trying to specifically fragment the guilds so that they could pick up and recruit people from the guild that were then looking for new work, basically.
Right. Yeah, we've got another organization probably from, outside.
Yeah.
Right?
I would guess that because it was attached primarily to kind of bookending aspects of the conflict, I could see this very much being a movie specific setup, because we're going to be reacting to the OVA and the movie after this.
Yep.
But sometimes in anime they'll do this specifically to set up characters that aren't part of the source material. But I'm not going to make any assumptions necessarily of whether this movie is in the source material.
But it absolutely makes sense for Dostoevsky to make an appearance, because it's you're talking about writers and stuff and
influential Western writers. Yeah. Even though Dostoevsky's Russian.
Right. It's just writers from all over, and he had a talent for particular kinds of writing.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, I've never been more just depressed and have zero faith in humanity when
Right.
I read a Dostoevsky book.
Like, if Dazai is the, like, secondary main character of this show, it makes sense that you'd have to have some Russian authors in there. You know, like that's just got to be there at
Life
some
is
point.
pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something.
Exactly. Yeah, but we even got Edgar Allan Poe.
He might be
Like-
joining the ADA.
Yeah,
You never know.
Which
I would see
be
him
great.
potentially being that gag character where he's constantly like wanting to get noticed by
Ranpo Senpai, yeah,
Edogawa Rampo,
which is just a great reversal,
which is
and I love
hilarious
it.
because it's just the cosplayer and imitation.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Anyway,
maybe the fake can be better than the real thing.
right,
you know?
exactly. So okay. We had also a little bit of a kind of a full resolution of sorts to something that Akutagawa has been wanting
Yes.
since the beginning of the show. Dazai came up and acknowledged him in the most bare minimum way.
Right.
But it was specifically in the way that Akutagawa wanted.
Right.
So he passes out. It's a hilarious bit, but I think that scene might set up a whole new character for Akutagawa.
I think so.
Because this is something where Dazai did not just big brain the play for the guild to be defeated and to rescue Kyoka and bring her into the
Yeah,
ADA,
but also for
to
Akutagawa.
potentially to save Akutagawa
Yep.
and to set up a new duet of a double of guardians basically that can protect this city and then of course
Exactly.
the people in it and thus Japan.
Yep.
So the idea that the old way of doing things is double black,
Yeah.
we're not always going to have that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need new blood.
We need new blood, but we also have wonderful young people that could, do some really great things if they figured out their own their own internal problems and then worked out things together.
Right.
I feel like Akutagawa could, if they continue to give him kind of like semi-main character Zuko style focus, kind of keep going back to him every once in a while he's on his journey, he could end up actually being one of my favorite characters if they if they have this be kind of his season 2 kind of book 2 kind of equivalent Avatar finale moment where it's okay, you're at a crossroads.
Yeah, and he's
Where do
chosen
you go from here?
Exactly. And much like Kyoka breaking off the chain off of her foot,
Yeah.
Akutagawa broke that off too, right? And it was absolutely dragging him under in a non-literal sense. But now it's gone. And the fact
We hope it's gone.
Yeah, we hope it's gone.
Yeah.
At the very least, it's begun, right? And the fact that we got comedy with Akutagawa, like Akutagawa being the subject of comedy, not just having it happen around him,
Right.
That is, I think, a
clear sign.
a clear sign from the author that basically it's like, okay, this is a change, right? He is now a part of the crew, right? Because Akutagawa, he was really hard for me to really like get behind because he took himself so seriously, right? Because there was so much pain in his past and he focused on it so much.
Yeah.
It's we need to see that point where it breaks, right? Where it breaks down and he's willing to make a change. And I love that it only happened after he made the like character decision of I'm going to actually help Atsushi, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put away the petty conflict that we basically have to work together to defeat this guy, right?
It was the advice he gave to Atsushi is the kind of the thing that he needed to do and listen
Exactly.
to that advice as well and take action within it of
Right.
cast aside all that stuff in your past. It's not who you are anymore necessarily.
And
So
that's true strength.
that is true.
And that's what I think, even if Dazai was also commending him on, damn, you took down the leader of the guild with Atsushi, like way to go,
way to go.
But also you worked with him, way to go.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
there was some fun poetry with that.
I loved the gear 3 or whatever, just kind of equivalent thing of the swollen mega fist, which is
Right.
such an anime kind of moment there where I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Absolutely.
We have kind of the subtle, slow introduction of this idea of abilities being turned on the user specifically to grant them power at a cost.
Yep.
And this being one where, because it wasn't turned on Akutagawa, he used his ability in a supportive manner.
Whoa.
Not offense, not
Yeah.
just defense either.
Right.
But support.
Oh God! Imagine. So you know how Dazai was always telling him like work on defense.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been able to do this like his previous form of the demon armor without learning defense, right? Because that's not how he was using his ability. But
Right.
then he also never would have been able to use it for support. Imagine Dazai with demon armor and super speed going around and nullifying abilities. Like they actually
No
would have
chance.
been unstoppable.
Yep.
Like completely and totally unstoppable. You still get something really awesome with Atsushi, right? And that's maybe I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if Dazai was kind of keeping him at kind of arm's length because it's the I can't work with you. Like
You remember in KOTOR 2 when Kreia wants to teach Hanhar the test of strength?
ooh, yeah.
I feel like in some ways Dazai gave his own version of that to Akutagawa, and given that Akutagawa didn't have necessarily a great teacher in some ways with Dazai back when
Right.
Dazai was in the Mafia, I think that what he was trying to teach him was that you need to in some ways deny yourself a little bit in order to gain true strength. You need to
sure.
give someone else the opportunity basically to be strong,
Right.
to lend your strength, to offer it up, to sacrifice that desire that you have to be strong in the moment to give it to someone else. And yeah, it just worked out perfectly.
Yep.
I loved also the classic moment of the, you missed me. I wasn't aiming for you.
Right. And it's
Where Tiger? You
Yeah.
won't call him Atsushi. He's like,
Right.
Where
yeah,
Tiger?
calling him by his ability, but still it's get back over here.
Yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
like that was so great. Like,
I also loved that it's a little subtle thing, but the idea that the sound of his voice calling out to him is what woke him up, not the ability grabbing him and just flinging him.
Right.
Like he just created a path for him. So that was just kind of fun.
Yep.
Also, we didn't get debt with
nope, but that's fine. That would have made it very janky and weird with how the
the limits of it are.
Right.
But I would have loved to see it because it would have been that moment where we're like, no, impossible.
yeah, right. True Masaka, like this is my final form.
And it would have been fun to see him almost break under the stress of that power.
Sure,
then
yeah.
Starting to ruin him and stuff. And it's like the thing of, I've never used this.
Right,
I've never borrowed like the
Like more
slightest
than-
bit
yeah.
of what I could spend.
Right.
And now you've pushed me this far. And that would have been a really cool wait. But I think that also, I just want to say another thing that I think is really, really important here. This is a battle shonen in a lot of ways that keeps its fights short. And I just have to say,
Yeah.
the finale being majority of it, character stuff and resolution to these plot conflicts, and then showing how this was all set up to be a big character moment for Kyoka. I
Can't argue with that. Like, yeah.
than having a really cool extended back
Right.
and forth between the guild leaders. We already had a bit of that in the previous episode. So
Yep.
good decision. I like it.
Also, since you brought that up, this is kind of like parallel to that. There was this part of me that while the fight was happening, I absolutely enjoyed it. This is not anything that detracts from that. I loved that it was this way. Where I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking, yes, all the powers simplify down to a different color, and then they go around punching each other.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing is, normally I would be bothered by that.
Right.
But it works so well here.
Because we already knew what Akutagawa's power is, and he's the one that doesn't just punch people.
Right, exactly. And
Like in a lot of ways, Akutagawa probably was the main reson why this wasn't just an absolute rinse. Like, Atsushi contributed less than Akutagawa in some ways, in that he got knocked off the movie.
yeah, he would have just been done.
That would have been it.
Yep.
Been over.
Like, even if Kyoka had randomly managed to, have him land on her plane, it's...
No way.
Nope.
So Akutagawa,
Way to go.
you made it also not just a
Not
punch
bad,
fest.
kid.
Yeah, not bad kid, exactly.
Yeah, right.
But the Kyoka decision, to have that be the thing that would be her sacrifice to set up her introduction and initiation into the ADA.
Right.
But not only that, the revelation that all men are created equal as an ability has nothing to do with his own combat ability.
Nope.
But it is the perfect leader ability.
Exactly.
Where he then is able to activate remotely at any distance. There is no limit so far as to where and when and how and all that.
Yep.
That as long as they're one of his subordinates, He can activate their ability.
Which, I gotta say, like...
Oh my god!
So, there are so many reasons why I love this. One, because it would have been so unsatisfying if she had actually died there.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's like, no, like, even if it was something where it's like, it had to be that specific phone, they can't do it in the 3 minutes, whatever, you know.
Whatever.
That still would have been like, come on.
But yeah, if you're going to basically say, we will sacrifice in some ways the leader's ability in the writing sense, in that needs to be used as the plot, you know, kind of reason.
Right, that's the sort of...
why it works.
Right, because it's... You know, you could say it's a Deus Ex Machina, but with something like, one, the leader of the ADA, where you have all these people with crazy abilities, his abilities got to be pretty crazy too. And we specifically saw him getting into conflict where he fought, but he didn't use his ability. So that just even begs the question even more: what is his ability?
What is his ability? Yeah.
When on top of all of that, his name, the name for his ability is "All men are created equal." Like that's as far as names go for an ability. That's got to be an insane ability to warrant a name like that.
And in some ways, it could have been crazier.
Yeah.
What I think that's great about this is that the writing, if you will, basically said, I could make his ability all kinds of crazy things, but you know, this feels perfect.
Right.
Because there's been nothing, in my opinion or observations thus far, there's been nothing that clearly foreshadows that this was what his ability does.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I don't believe so. So having it be basically like, okay, now I can't make it anything else. It's locked in.
Yeah. Like,
there you go.
It works.
I love it because it's also something that Dazai would have factored into his equations.
Exactly.
So there we go.
Yep. And it's something that it totally makes sense for him to not want to share that with plenty of people, because you don't want that information to get in the hands of people who would use it against them, for one. But two, he doesn't necessarily want his subordinates to be thinking about how he might just yoink their powers randomly at some point because there's something that needs to happen, right?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of like the negative side of like the leader that's like, all right, looking over your shoulder, nope, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, exactly. He could do that, but he doesn't, because he trusts his people and he knows that they're competent.
Yeah, but even when they're not competent, when they don't know what they're doing, and they come into the ADA and they're scared and they're insecure and they've got a terrifying ability, that's okay. Why? Because I am here.
Yeah.
Basically, Atsushi's little added explanation of the reason you can control your tiger now is because you joined the agency has a little bit of poetry to it, in that the reason why his emotional insecurities and internal problems have been lessened is because Tadaima,
right.
I'm home,
Yeah.
This is his family now.
Yep.
It's also a literal mechanic in that when you join the agency now, you don't have to worry about it running rampant anymore.
Right. And that's just
just awesome.
That's just wonderful.
That's just good.
Yep.
It combines with the themes of found family to leave a really good, just warm feeling in
Exactly.
us.
And then on top of that, that just makes me wonder, though, what would have happened if Otasaku had joined the ADA?
Oh, man.
Would hold on.
Yeah.
Would the president have been able to see the future as well, or would have just made it so that Otasaku would have seen certain futures?
I think it's not that he gains access to the abilities, but he
makes it be used. Yeah,
he makes it be used.
Yep.
But if he does, then that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I also loved how, because of the quirky and goofy nature of this show, and a lot of times this party feels in some ways kind of like a One Piece feast, at the end of an arc.
It really does.
And it gives me this like really, really just good old warm fuzzy feeling as another person joins the crew. Even though we've known for a while that of course Kyoka is going to join eventually.
Right.
But now having this thing of no, it needed to be done through the exam.
Yep.
It needed to be done with a sacrifice of yourself for someone else.
Which is
for basically, strangers. That's perfect. I loved the idea then that Akutagawa and the guy who has the Moby Dick power, basically, were the ones that were also in some ways saved by this. People that she doesn't know or really care about.
Yeah,
so it wasn't just for saving Atsushi as well.
Right, yeah.
So it does really fit all the prerequisites.
The bit with the whale, appearing and then flying after him, that was really sweet.
That was sweet, yeah.
That was something where I didn't know I wanted it. It didn't take a lot of time to do, but once it happened, I was just like, there we go. That's awesome.
I love also the two Port Mafia members that worked with Dazai in the background here to make this all set up. So we have, what's her name?
What was her name? Yeah.
Koyu, yeah.
Yeah.
Being the one that sets up basically from the beginning, at least, the earliest stages of the plan, in that, okay, I need you to work with me in this regard so that we can get it all to work. And, okay, awesome. But then the idea
the
that...
Black Lizard leader.
Yeah, the idea that the Black Lizard leader specifically set up Akutagawa to make it to the Moby Dick.
Yep. Like, that's great.
That's really cool.
Because I totally laughed at the Black Lizards when they were introduced back in season 1. Like they were, God, they were so hilarious. But then we got the stuff with, what's her name? Blonde gun wielder. Higuchi, yeah. Yeah, we got the stuff with
She
Higuchi.
was the one that got leaked the info so that she would pass it on to Akutagawa, and then Akutagawa was like, no, I'll go myself, you know?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
But, like, we saw a new side from the Black Lizards back then, and now we get another bit from the leader here. So it's like, cool. Just more things for the organizations to be all connected and things like that.
And stuff.
Yep.
And then, of course, Chuya being pissed at the...
Right, you attacked them, what?
Like, all this being something that just shows Dazai's superiority to him, and just... God damn it, why do you keep hearing about my ex all the time? And just,
I got Chuya mixed up with the brother.
Oh,
oh, boy.
Also, the reveal that, this is not a wholesome dynamic between Mori and what's
that is
her
not
name?
his daughter.
He's gross.
Uh-huh.
Now, the thing that's
on pedo.
the thing that's kind of like simple about it that in some ways I kind of do like is that it's like no, Mori's he's awful. Like he's charming. But no, he's a scumbag.
Right.
Like, he is the leader of the mafia. Like, he does not have
exactly.
any morals.
Yes.
And it's just a nice little reminder that while the Port Mafia is a charming group of idiots at times, they also have a bunch of nasty people that are in their organization that it's like, yeah, it makes Akutagawa kind of look like an earnest boy.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You kind of are like, oh, Akutagawa's... Yeah, he's murdered how many people? A lot of people. He's not that bad compared to someone like Dazai.
Exactly, right. Dazai's whole thing of like, 35? That's only just honey, 35, honey. Huh?
You're going to need to live another 20 years. And
right, exactly.
Yeah,
because given that that we got a lot of coordination between the ADA and the Port Mafia up till now, having that kind of reinforcement of like, Ogi is... or Ogai. Yeah. Ogi is a different show and different character that also has black hair.
Ogai,
Yeah. That's a way for in future seasons for it to not feel like strange potentially of like, why can't the Port Mafia and the ADA just get along? They work together already so well, and a bunch of their members are helping the ADA like on the down low.
Some of them will never see eye to eye, basically.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But some of them will. And that's the thing, is that we got to see who those people were.
Right.
And who the ones that might change even more into season 3, which is specifically Akutagawa.
Right.
And, of course, Chuya and Dazai will always have their,
their on-off
sexual tension, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we even got that same kind of setup with the members of the guild, and it's like, okay, what are they going to do now? Right?
They've got to figure out their own shit.
Yep.
But hey, maybe some of them could go out maybe looking for work. Maybe there's a possibility. There's the possibility that Francis is alive. I kind of actually want him to be alive.
No, I totally want him. He is 100% alive.
I want him to have hit the water and hit the debt button. And that's how he survived. And now the story is that he's going to come back and help them in season 3 as like the Aizen, like, I want to help you kind of thing.
Right.
But his thing is going to be that he's destitute and he needs to earn money.
Oh, yeah, because like...
So he's going to be like, I will earn my way.
Yep.
I won't do anything unless it's something that will like help me, build myself back up to 0.
Right.
So don't give me any free handouts or anything like that.
No, I can do this myself. Like,
Like he's gonna be like he's gonna be almost like a caricature probably of like the American dream and stuff like that.
Pull myself up by my own bootstraps. But he might actually be able to do that,
Yeah, I would
I mean,
love it.
physically, it might cost him like $100 or something, but he could.
No,
actually
I would say
probably,
like physically, it's going to cost him like 50 years. But I would love to have that be basically like the explanation is that he literally adjusts his life entirely because
sure.
he's no longer blinded by wealth. His goals become extremely simple. I don't think wealth was blinding him entirely, but just the idea that...
Well, right, he gave it all away, yeah.
Right, but the idea that then he doesn't need to spend money in order to get what he wants.
Right.
He can
Goes
build
up to
relationships.
Atsushi.
He can build relationships other than wealth, and then that can be his way to... Now, this is
absolutely.
all dumb speculation based on the idea that he's potentially alive.
I would just like to
He
see
might not be at all, so...
I would just like to see the joke thing happen at some point where it's like, you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and he's like, no, yes, I can, give me a hundo. And then he just burns it and then pulls himself up by his bootstraps. I think that would be hilarious. But
see, I think what's the issue is that he probably does actually destroy the money. But the thing is that, like, isn't that, like, a crime? Like,
yeah. Like, spending the money, sure.
Right.
Spending it to who? Wait, we have a negative inflation problem? Like, we have a cash problem? Like, that. It's just gone.
It's just disappearing.
Yeah.
There's
Like,
this guy,
there's this black hole in the economy. Like,
yeah. It's about sending a message.
right. Oh, God. Yeah. What would that even do? Because if he had, like, crazy investments and things like that, and then all of a sudden the money doesn't go somewhere else, it just disappears.
Right. It'd be like, sir, 0.2% of the U.S. economy just is gone.
No, that's just people, like, hiding it in their houses in case there's... No,
sir.
We've accounted for that.
This was digital. We can track this shit.
yeah. It just went to zero. Like...
But anyhow, I'm really excited to get into, like, bonus content in between seasons, because I'm guessing that it's going to be canon. But at the very least, what kind of comedic antics this show can get up to, I could see an OVA being hilariously funny.
Sure.
But I could see a movie also getting extremely epic into the ideas of the Port Mafia and the ADA needing to team up against some kind of third-party threat that's something that's maybe Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Yeah, because, like, season 2, you could have totally had the Otasaku bit be like a semi-shorter movie, like a 90-minute movie or something like that.
Totally have been a movie.
Yep, and the stuff with the Port Mafia and the Guild could have totally been like a...
It could have been longer.
It could have
been 4 episodes longer, yeah.
Right,
so
exactly.
fast-paced
Or just have it be like a, one of those like 2.5 hour, like almost 3 hour movies or something like that. But
I think if anything, it would have made more sense just to have it be a full core.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I think it was around like episodes like 7 and 8 and stuff. We were like, whoa, this is actually almost too fast. Like,
right. Yeah. But that was also part of the fun of it. And whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if they wanted to do something like that, where there's some new Otasaku kind of equivalent of like, let's set up some things so that way when we move into the war section, you know,
have the equivalent of where it's just an arc
Yep.
focused specifically on the past, not
Right.
actually on something that's like literally its own contained plot. But
right, because I think maybe the one potential weakest part of like this season was the fact that there were all the guild members that they had to introduce while at the same time doing all the war stuff, and
because we just didn't know them yet.
Yeah, and then there's how do you make us care about them, and big cast of characters get all sorts of complicated,
Yeah, that's why in some ways the Port Mafia was the real winners meta-wise this season.
Sure.
Is almost all their characters got upgraded in a really strong way.
Yep.
Akutagawa, Chuya, Mori,
Higuchi was technically
Koyu.
the previous season.
Higuchi was more the previous season, so she hasn't really done as much there. But really, really good stuff in that regard. So, okay, season 2 complete. And next one will be the OVA followed by the movie. So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next OVA, the first OVA that we'll be watching for this show, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.